I got every workout from 1983 until 1997. Every single workout, every rep, every set. Preparation notes for Mr. Olympia and all these things. This worked, this didn't work. So very analytical, writing everything, analyzing, studying.
His training diary was his life, and that was him. He knew if he followed X, it would equal Y, and that's what's been proven.
He totally believed what he was doing was right. He had no doubts. That's half the battle. If you believe in something, you can make it happen.
Blood and guts is just to the level where no one's willing to go. I mean, that's what it's about. Turn the body inside out, no matter what it takes. He wasn't going to stop. He was a train.
So, all last season, I'll start with that and what led me to come into Kuwait. All last season was like the season before I did everything on my own. Not totally successful, but I like what I did with my body a lot. Made some good improvements, had some good resources. Last year was a bit of a struggle towards the mid-season with resources and whatnot. And I think I did 8 shows the year before, and then last year I did 9 shows. So my body was kind of like, screw you. And I think sometimes when a person has something in their own hand, they're going to do more than they probably need to do. So if I had people maybe giving me advice, maybe I wouldn't have did so many shows. Maybe I wouldn't have, bounced everywhere trying to please this promoter, that promoter, or whatnot. So coming to Olympia, I was just like, I made it. I didn't expect to, but I made it another year, and I was like, wow. So I'm just gonna go, enjoy myself, and really use it for motivation for the next season. And that's when I met Abdullah, somewhere in between pre-Georgia and the finals. I just basically compliment him on the work he's done with my friend Vic. I thought that was, to bring somebody back and revive them is like, it's really an accomplishment, for both parties. So I just saw how he did that, and I just want to give him some respect. And he mentioned kind of coming to Kuwait, and I was like, I'm gonna do the Kuwait Pro, so I'll be out there. I'll think about it. And he said, yeah, and he said something like, coming to Kuwait. I think he said something like, man, we can make you top 6 in the world. That kind of stuck with me. I was like, wow. I've only been 8th at the Olympia is my best. And that's been a few years ago, several years ago. So it's like, man, it'd be good to have the opportunity again. So since this is my career, since I pulled every rabbit out of the hat I could think of, I was like, why not? This opportunity doesn't come to us in this community every day. So I sought it out, and I asked my wife about it. And she was like, yeah, you do what you need to do, what you feel is best for your career, and and it's funny how life and different situations will put you in a lock or a chokehold, and be like, you can make a different decision, but if you don't make this decision, you may get choked out. So I say life got a little bit harder, and all my the things that I would rely on, all the things that I thought were there, and I could rely on and fall back on, are kind of unreliable at some points. And I was thinking, I don't have too many clear options. So if I had any doubts about going, my life situations have all directed me. It's like, you don't need to have any doubts about going. This is a shot you got to take. This is the shot for now. And you've expected a lot out of yourself in the past, and this is the time to put it all on the table and make it happen. So I was like, okay. So life kicked me in the butt and said, okay, I know what you're gonna miss. I know it's gonna be hard, but in the end, you gotta follow destiny, is what I've always learned in life. So I kind of feel like it's my destiny to be here. And first month here so far, it's been an amazing experience. Hasn't been easy. Nothing's easy that's worth anything. But it's definitely been an amazing experience, and all the guys in Kuwait have been really supportive. And the community here is top notch, man. It's definitely a motivating place to be. training is brutal. You know, as a bodybuilder, you train and you pride yourself on working hard or being strong or whatnot. And I had a whole young career of wanting to be strong, wanting to be this top performer, always a performance nut. Got away from that and went more into my bodybuilding focus side to be smarter, increase my longevity of my career, which was a good thing. But one thing I've learned about here, it's hard to be as strong as you would be when somebody else dictates how much rest time you have, how much more weight they're gonna put on, how many sets you have to reach max weight, I should say. So when you think you're done, and you So when somebody's dictating the pace, they're dictating, you know, what you're gonna do next, what order you're gonna do it, you're kind of like an open victim. It's not your logic, it's not your signs you're reading, it's somebody else reading you. And sometimes they're pushing you over an edge that you won't necessarily go to on your own because you already have these preconceived notions and limitations. So a lot of times I hit a set and I'm like, man, this has got to be the last set. The next thing I know, they put more weight on. And they're like, yeah, you got another set where you're gonna drop set. And it's like, wow. So that level of expectation that I had to place on myself, probably period, is something that's new as well. It's being able to push yourself, being able to push you in a fashion that you wouldn't push yourself without that proper guidance, but doing it in a manner that's smart, safe, you know, but exceeds, you know, the athlete's expectations. So it's definitely stepped it up a notch. And the thing about it is, you kind of find out, like, coming to a place like this where you're being pushed to extremes, you kind of find out what genetics and what you're really made out of, and your recovering abilities, things that you wouldn't think were logical or things that don't make sense in the normal community. You kind of figure out what sets a bodybuilder apart, maybe from the normal community, and why bodybuilders over a historic period of time change and evolve the training a certain way. Because when I'm big into science, I have an exercise science degree, and you look at the most efficient ways or effective ways, but often they're looking at the general population under normal circumstances, or maybe some experience, but not extreme circumstances that we put ourselves under. So it's giving me a different perspective on the art of bodybuilding and the historic changes in bodybuilding, as far as training volume and as far as the things we push ourselves through, and why it's going to work with some populations and why it doesn't quite pan out for other populations. I just think as long as the doors are open for that to happen, I believe so. If you're in the business of bodybuilding, why not come to a place where they're about the business of bodybuilding to the second level, to the utmost degree? I mean, if this is what you love, why not come to, basically the Disneyland of bodybuilding in a sense, and really test yourself. Kuwait, I'm here, so Kuwait is definitely a competition for the U.S. I mean, Ashkenani has proved that. Big Ramy has proved that. Wally Winkler has proved that. Nathan Diaz has proved that. I mean, these guys have proved that coming to Kuwait is going to give the guys that just train in the U.S. or even in other places around the world, it's going to give them a second guess. They're going to know we're coming. They got some reputation that this place has, that the U.S. has kind of lost its luster. That doesn't mean that bodybuilding is not good there. It just means the concentration of what they're doing here is on a different level.